Hello again, everyone. Marcus here. I review stuff today. I'm reviewing the song Like Clockwork by Queens of the Stone Age. As usual, this song comes to you as a request from one of my viewers. So if you would like to get your song reviewed, just do what they did. Leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to add it to my list. So at this point, I'm a big fan of Queens of the Stone Age. I got to come out and just say that right away. I mean, I've heard a lot of their songs here on the channel. You know, before starting the channel, I'd heard I want to say Go With The Flow. I want to say No One Knows for sure. And maybe a handful of others, just from what was played on rock radio, right? But really starting the channel and getting y'all's requests has really grown my interest and my appreciation for Queens of the Stone Age. And so this one was requested a while back, and I said we jump right into it. Again, this is Queens of the Stone Age, Like Clockwork. Here we go.
Has somewhere to go, and the faster the world spins, the shorter the lights will glow. And I'm swimming in the night, chasing down the moon. The deeper in the water, the more I long for you. Most of what you see, my dear, is purely for show, because not everything that goes around comes back around, you know. Holding on too long is just a fear of letting go, because not everything that goes around comes back around, you know. One thing that is clear, it's all downhill from here.
Wow. That was a great song. That was beautiful. And it's interesting because, again, I've heard a good amount of Queens of the Stone Age here on the channel. I listened to their entire Songs for the Deaf album. I've heard songs from like Era Vulgaris. I've heard songs from like Clockwork. I've heard songs from Villains. I've heard one of their newest songs as well. I mean, just so many different songs that I've heard from them. You know, Rated R, their self-titled album. I've heard a little bit of everything. Um, and it's interesting because you kind of think you know their style after a while, and then they throw something at you like this that is much sort of softer, slower, very thought out, very just melodic and like and beautiful sounding, but also very dark and heavy to kind of listen to. This was gorgeous. I had a really great time listening to this one. So let's break it down piece by piece like we always do, of course. Starting with those lyrics. So there's a bit of an about section here. It says the title track of this album is also the last of the Triumphant Project. Josh Homme returns to the piano to round off this album with a rather depressing but beautiful song. That's a great way to put it. It was depressing and beautiful. About regrets in life, it grapples with the idea that people will do as they please, and you have no power to say otherwise. Okay, well, let's take a look. I Sat by the Ocean. Great song, by the way. I want to say I've also done If I Had a Tail, My God is the Sun, another great song. And Smooth Sailing, another great song, and I Appear Missing as well. I've heard most of this album, I guess, at this point. All of these, I think, are available for you to check out on the channel. So just a few more. I mean, honestly, I could almost round out this album at some point if I wanted to. Anyway, let's take a look. So, everyone, it seems, has somewhere to go, and the faster the world spins, the shorter the lights will glow. And I'm swimming in the night, chasing down the moon. The deeper in the water, the more I long for you. Most of what you see, my dear, is purely for show, because not everything that goes around comes back around. You know, holding on too long is just a fear of letting go, because not everything that goes around comes back around. You know, one thing that is clear, it's all downhill from here. I think the person who requested this song had mentioned that this was also sort of related to Josh Homme's like near-death experience, right? Which he talks about in I Appear Missing. Again, song great, probably one of my most viewed songs on the channel as well. But yeah, I mean, just you kind of get that sense of that here about like that fear of letting go, and again, not everything that goes around comes around. And so, which again, it's like if you let it go, there's a chance it may not come back. That could apply to, well, obviously, like life. Once life is done, it's like that's done. It's it, right? It doesn't come back around. But it could also just be that fear of like moving on with your life, you know? The love line in your hand, cleverly disguised. All the promises of stone crumble in the light. Most of what you see, my dear, is worth letting go, because not everything that goes around comes back around. You know, holding on too long is just a fear of what to show, because not everything that goes around comes back around. You know, not everything that goes around comes back around. You know, one thing that is clear, it's all downhill from here. So it's interesting that he goes back to like, most of what you see, my dear, is worth letting go. And in the beginning, he talked about how, where was it? Where he said like, most of what you see, my dear, is purely for show. And so I'm guessing, just the way that I'm reading this, and again, just having a little bit of that background knowledge going into this, is that like his near death experience made him sort of reevaluate what was actually important in his life, and he came to the conclusion that like most of it's just for show. Most of it is just these things that we do because we feel we have to, right? And at the end of the day, most of that stuff is just worth letting go and not worrying about anymore, and not like keeping up with all the time. And so really like prioritizing what is important and what isn't. But like that idea of letting some of that stuff go is hard, right? Holding on too long is just a fear of what to show. He also said holding on too long is just a fear of letting go, right? So it's hard to let go of those ideas, those preconceived notions, those whatever it may be, right? The things that you think are important in life, when in reality it's like, man, how much of that actually mattered and how much was just for show. I don't know, that I feel like I'm not necessarily connecting it the way that I feel it up here in my brain, but hopefully you guys kind of get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, Lyrically, I thought it was well written. I'm going to give it 2 big thumbs up. As far as instrumentation and vocals go, the piano here was beautiful. It said Josh Homme was on the piano here. I'm assuming that's correct. But yeah, gorgeous melody. Wasn't sure how the song was going to play out entirely, so when it started off that slow, I was like, okay, this is this is going to be a slow song throughout. I really appreciate that middle kind of third of the song where they kind of picked things up a little bit, brought in the guitars, the drums, all that stuff. And that part sounded really nice too, and it kind of broke it up, right? Obviously, it was a very, again, kind of sort of solemn, depressing feeling song, but I think that middle section kind of helped break that up a little bit, and it kind of was bookend on either end by that piano and that, again, more sort of emotional feeling of the song. And so yeah, I think the instrumentation here was beautiful. Honestly, Josh Homme sounds great here. And again, it's interesting because you listen to a song like "Make It With You" and it's like completely different from a song like "Clockwork," which is completely different, I think, vocally from a song like "Emotion Sickness," which is completely different from a song like "No One Knows." It's like he brings so many different vocal styles to this band. Plus, they've had multiple vocalists, right? Throughout the years, especially in the Songs for the Deaf kind of era. But it's just, yeah, like I feel like I never get tired of listening to this band. Every time I sit down and I review a new song from them, or I guess a song that's new to me, I should say, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is great. I want to hear more Queens of the Stone Age. So anyway, with all that said, instrumentally, vocally, I'm giving it 2 big thumbs up. As far as instrumentation goes, this one easily makes the playlist. I don't know if I listen to it all the time just because it is kind of, it's kind of depressing, which nothing wrong with that. It's just, I feel you have to be kind of in the right headspace to truly appreciate like putting a song like this on. So I don't know if I listen to it all the time, but I think it still makes the playlist, and given the right mood, I'll come back to it. So I'm gonna give it a thumb up for replay value. Overall, pretty good song, guys, and I really appreciate the person who requested this one. So hey, as always, if you enjoyed the music as much as I did, go support the artists. Go listen to their music wherever you can, and if you enjoyed what you saw here today with me, consider supporting the channel by liking and subscribing and commenting with your requests, because I'm always taking those. In fact, that's how we got this song in the first place. And you can even check the description if you'd like to follow me on Twitch, TikTok, or Instagram. Probably most active on Instagram, but the others also exist. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. That's going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. All right, y'all. Bye for now.